Welcome again. Today we are going to take Unit 4 and the topic will be the basics of grammar and common error in English writing and speaking, part 1. We begin with the parts of speech. Students, if you have a good knowledge of the parts of speech, it covers about the 75% of your grammar. So one who has a sound knowledge of parts of speech, he has very little chance of making errors. So we are working through the errors of noun first. So we define nouns as the nouns are the words, the naming words that name person, place, animal, thing or idea. Even abstract things that are not visible like the idea, that is a noun. A noun must agree in count with the verb in a sentence. The count of a noun, singular or plural, it must agree with the count of verb. Errors in use of nouns. So there are several examples through which we will learn the use of appropriate nouns. I must help him. After all, we are brothers of the same session. I must help him. After all, we are brethren. The noun brothers is not appropriate in this context. So brethren means it refers to the people of the same community. Next, was everything for conscience sake? So the correct would be was everything for conscience sake. So some pronouns do not take possessive because conscience itself makes a possessive sense when it is preceded by for. My uncle's friend's son is a doctor. So the correct is the son of my uncle's friend is a doctor. The juries consist of 10 members. The jury here it shows one unit. So this collective noun it can be considered singular. So we treat singular and say the jury consists. So here the jury is singular and the consists, the verb is singular. One more thing, you need to remember that in grammar s or es suffix, it is used in a noun to make a plural, but if it is added in a verb, it becomes singular. His hat was blown off by a strong air. So instead of strong air, it is wind. Because strong air, it means wind. It's not just air. Air is what you're breathing. Mankind are to be vanished. So mankind is to be vanished because mankind is a singular term in count. No one uses blotting these days. So blotting is not appropriate noun. We better say no one uses blotting paper. So blotting paper, it complete, it together makes the sense. Now we come to the second part of speech, pronouns. Pronouns, if we define, they are the words that are used in place of any noun. Example, we have seen it, he, she, you, your, we, and they, etc. Now if you see what kind of errors are there in pronoun, the man who they thought to be gentleman is a rogue. The man whom they thought to be gentleman is a rogue. Shankar is one of the greatest philosophers that has ever lived. So Shankar is one of the greatest philosophers that have. See, one of the many. So the verb it agrees with philosophers, and philosophers is plural. The prize was given to the girl whom they said stood first. So here the prize was given to the girl who they said. My father does not like me going to picture every day. So instead of saying my father does not like me going to, you say my father does not like my going to picture every day. So like me it should be my going. This is one of the best suggestions that has ever been made by you. So again, as in the question 2, one of the best suggestions, so that will take have, because one of many, so many needs a plural verb. So now we have the use of adjectives. So adjectives, if you see, are the quality words that qualify a noun or a pronoun and an adverb even. So errors, what kind of errors we see? Kalidas is greater than any dramatist. So instead of any other, Kalidas is greater than any other dramatist. So any is followed by other. India is more beautiful than any country. Again like that. In the first, any other country of the world. Mr. Racing is the noblest and most industrious. See, so when two adjectives in the comparative or superlative degree come together, the one found by adding more or most should be given second. The whole India mourned the death of Mrs. Indira Gandhi. The whole India mourned the death of Miss Indira Gandhi. So the whole of India, it is the correct form. We are taking the whole of the entire thing. So of is necessary. It shows a link. It shows a share. Television has proved much harmful than useful. The comparative word more, comparative degree, more must be used. Television has proved more harmful than useful. Now, in the use of verbs, verbs are doing words that indicate an action, dynamic or static. A verb can be transitive or intransitive verb. So transitive verbs, they have object after the verb, and intransitive do not have any object. For example, intransitive, Ram flies kites. So it is a transitive because there is kites after the fly verb. But if we say Ram sleeps, so there is just a verb without any object, so it's intransitive. Now we come to the error part. Had you been to Calcutta, I had also gone there. See, this is one of the example in the conditions we have seen. So had you been to Calcutta, I would have also gone. So it's conditional sentence type. With had, you need to have the future perfect, imaginary future perfect, would have instead of had. These news were broadcasted from All India Radio yesterday. The news is never countable noun, so use this news was broadcast from All India Radio yesterday. The pickpocket was arrested and his pockets searched. So was arrested and were. This pickpocket was arrested and his pockets were searched. So there should be appropriate grammar science in terms of past. So both the actions, they are occurring in the past and they should agree accordingly. So 10 were killed and 1 taken prisoner. So there is inconsistency in the idea. 10 were killed and 1 was taken. You very well can make the sense. Hindustan is in existence from time. So it is a long thing. The existence, it has been a pulled activity, it has been for long. So we say Hindustan has been in existence from time immemorial. So something, any activity that continues longer, for long period, then it comes in a perfect and is still in the present. So Hindustan has been in existence from time immemorial. Now there is some exercise question. Madhu was as unhappy as though she fell from a high social position. So Madhu was as unhappy as though she had fallen. So correct form of the verb, she had fallen. So it is past perfect and it is past simple. So one activity will always be older than the other. So when two activities are occurring in the same phase of time, for example here in the past, then one activity will be older than the other, and older means the perfect form. So Madhu was unhappy as though she had fallen. By the time we reached his place, he take his breakfast. So by the time we reach, it's a present, and so it is a combination. A present simple comes with a future simple in general ideas, but in scientific ideas it is a different case. So we feel here the right will be he will take his breakfast. When I went to meet him, he worked in his garden. See, when I went to meet him, he was working in his garden. So it is past and it is past continuous, because when means at a point of time when you reached, that activity was going on. That activity was not completed. That activity was going on, because at moment of time, either in present or past, at a particular moment is always progressive. So he was working in the garden when you saw him, or when you met him, or when you went to meet him. He was so lame that he can hardly walk. Again, it is a past in the first clause, so in the another clause it will agree accordingly. He was so lame that he could hardly. So past of can, could is imaginary past, indirect past, because that is an imaginary pronoun here, that is indirect pronoun here. You can very well guess. Nobody knew that he was live in the forest. So nobody knew. It's a past component. It is referring that the upcoming verb will come in the past background of time. So nobody knew that he was live in the forest. So he was living in the forest, because still he was continuing with that activity and not completed with the sense of this verb. See, every verb has its particular meaning and margin. Any verb, we will not transform any verb like any other verbs. So we have to justify its meaning as well. As we have studied many times, a sentence must agree in both structure and meaning. That is syntactic, that is the structure, and semantic meaning. In the use of adverbs, we see adverbs are the words that qualify an adjective, another adverb, or a verb. So they are chiefly classified into 4 types: adverb of time, place, manner, and frequency. We say PTM or PMT. So errors in use of adverbs. Actions sometimes speak loudly than words. So the right adverb is louder than. I want to know as to why he hit the dog. So I want to know why he hit the dog. So as to is not appropriate here. I want to know why he. Call me anything else than a fool. Call me anything but a fool. Instead of else than, we use a but. See, but is a conjunction as well as an adverb. He behaved cowardly before the principal. He behaved in a cowardly manner. So cowardly is an adverb and it needs something. So we say he behaved in a cowardly manner before the principal. So cowardly, it qualifies behaved. Please kindly help me in my work. The two words are used, two adverbs are used, that is not allowed. So kindly help me in my work or please help me in my work, it's enough. But two adverbs cannot be used for same verb, the same sense. She ran very fast rather than she ran very fastly. Fastly is not any adverb in English grammar. Fast is an adverb. and even it is an adjective, but here it is used as an adverb because fast qualifies the verb ran. She runs fast, not she is fast. Now, errors in use of prepositions. So we see prepositions are the words that are placed before a noun and it indicates the relation of a noun with another noun or verb or adverb. So we see the errors. When he parted with his sister, there were tears in his eyes. It should be when he parted from his sister. So instead of with, it is from, the right preposition. The teacher ordered me to write with ink. So it shouldn't be with, it should be in ink. In ink means that in color, and that the Hindu religion has been in existence since time immemorial. So instead, from time memorial, when you do something in a dynamic form, where there is change in body and where there is movement, use upon instead of simply on. Police are not allowed to enter into the university campus. The police are not allowed to enter the university campus, not into. Into is used when you are using something into a closed. When you're entering into a closed room, for example, he entered into the room, that's correct. But here the campus is an open space. Next, translate this passage from English to Hindi. So it should be not to, it should be into. So translate this passage from Hindi, English into Hindi. So from one medium into another medium, we use into instead of in. Now we come to the conjunctions part. Conjunctions are the words connecting phrases and other words or sentences. For example, but, and, that, because. So if, what are the errors we see? As you are my younger brother, so I shall take care of you. So this is unnecessary use. I shall take care of you because. So instead of as, there should be reason because. See, appropriateness of conjunction is a must. He had hardly seen me, so he came to me running. The correct preposition, the correct conjunction is he had hardly seen me when he came. So with hardly we use when, hardly when. So these are compound conjunctions and they have appropriate set. So hardly when. I will die someday since all men are mortal. So as all men, since doesn't make that sense. I'll die someday as all men are mortal. No sooner we reach the stadium, it started. Again, like example 2, no sooner has a combination, no sooner than. So it must come in the before the other clause. No sooner did we reach the stadium than it started raining. No sooner we reached the stadium, it started raining. So no sooner comes with than, it is coupled with than, compounded with than. So no sooner did we reach the stadium than it started raining. Jia was not in a good mood. Therefore, I did not talk to her. It's again, instead of therefore, it should be so. It is more appropriate. So I did not talk to her. A modal verb indicates modality of the main verb. It follows in talking about its ability, permission, request, and obligation. So errors in the modals we see. We should not hurry. There is plenty of time. So here, we instead of should, there should be need. We need not hurry. There is plenty of time. The case is serious. You should consult a good doctor. The case is serious and you ought to. Ought to is a formal advice. Here, ought to is an informal. Ought to is more formal than should. When I was young, I had worked for 12 hours. When I was young, I used to work. It's a past habit. Should you care for a glass of milk? So instead of should, would you care for a glass of milk? So would, it refers to the willingness or one's idea, and should, it puts a suggestion. You should not go to college today. The teachers are on strike. You do not go to the college. The teachers are on strike. So should is replaced by need. Errors in the use of models. If you look in the further sentences, I went to him so that I should warn him of the coming danger. I went to him so that I might warn him of the coming danger. So should doesn't make a appropriate sense. It should be used with the model might, because there is a pronoun that, indirect pronoun. So whatever comes after that, the verb is always indirect past. We eat so that we should live. We eat so that we may live. It's a popular thought. One must serve one's country. One ought to serve. It's more official. So instead of must, one ought to serve. It's official, or it's a advice. It's a general advice made, but in a very formal way. It cannot be an obligation, as it suggests. You may not go there personally. Just send someone. You needn't go there. Again, there is a need. It's saying you needn't go there personally. Just send someone. There should be a good sense of models, students, before we can practice the errors. Can I borrow your pen? So may is more polite, and you should say, may I borrow your pen? So students, you need to have a good practice of the errors so that you can deal with any, come up with grammar accuracy. Thank you.